Bonjour à tous, c'est Lamé, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui nous nous retrouvons pour l'épisode 3 du Let's Play sur Vampyr. Et je sais pas trop ce qu'on va faire là du coup. Là on doit s'occuper de tous les habitants de Londres qui sont à l'hôpital. Là c'est tout ce qu'on sait pour le moment. Parce qu'on a été engagé par le docteur Swansea l'épisode précédent, je vous le rappelle, qui est devenu notre nouveau copain. Et je crois qu'on va commencer, hein. Comme ça on va voir ce qui nous attend pour cet épisode. Donc répondre à la porte. Oula.
Hurry now, Doctor, it's freezing here.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry, there's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Bon bah du coup on va devoir aller à la morgue chercher des choses pour les patients. Et je ne sais pas pourquoi, mais vu que c'est au bout d'une ruelle sombre, je sens que je vais pas trop aimer. On va parler à différentes personnes, puis essayer de trouver du matos. Là, par exemple, on a trouvé des petites bouteilles. Ah, c'est peut-être par là qu'on sort. Ouais, ça va être par là. J'ai pas envie d'y aller. Puis vous avez vu, je me suis mis dans le noir pour jouer. Et j'ai un petit peu peur, j'avoue. Ça, on l'avait déjà lu. Elle, c'est qui? Oh, on la connaît pas encore. Ah, elle est mignonne.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse?
Elle a peur.
What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Monsieur.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted.
Je l'imagine, oui.
No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Les pauvres, comment s'en sort le personnel?
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Eh ben, il a bien raison. Ah, nouvel indice disponible sur Milton. La mauvaise réputation près de ses collègues. Ah, c'est lui alors. Juste parce qu'il est un petit peu grognon.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
Question personnelle, mais c'est bon. Là, je peux pas.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Bon, on ira revoir Milton Grumpy plus tard. Je l'appelle Grumpy du coup. Ah, de l'utilisation de l'ail et des puits en bois. On ira ça plus tard. Hein. Du coup, c'était elle.
The giant morgue disguised as a hospital. That's Pembroke nowadays.
Good evening, sir.
Oula.
Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor.
Ouais, il était brûlé.
German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Bon, ben on a appris que ce monsieur s'appelait Thomas Elwood. Hop là.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Je pense que ça va être une quête
Can I do
secondaire.
anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Indice requis.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Il est sympa, mais à mon avis, être médecin de guerre, ça doit pas être évident non plus.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
On n'a pas de quête pour lui du coup. Bon, bah tant pis. Ah, mais c'est notre ami qu'on a sauvé.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite.
Ouais,
A
même
little
très poli.
delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers' trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Ah, donc on a sauvé un criminel tout à l'heure. C'est cool.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Il a l'air gentil ce monsieur.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Il est gentil ce monsieur, il vole bien partout.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
Hein?
You dared to enter this awful
Il y aura un
place
vampire
alone.
par ici.
You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Je suis quand même contente qu'on ait réussi à le sauver ce monsieur, parce qu'il a l'air vraiment bien.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know.
Vrai.
We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
C'est vrai qu'il aurait pu utiliser sa croix contre William.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Il croit pas aux vampires.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Ouais, c'est vraiment un homme bien, ce monsieur. Bah là, je peux pas y aller. Donc il y a des gens auxquels je peux pas parler pour le moment. Il y en a que je peux pas parler pour le moment, effectivement. Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait là-bas, elle?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Elle est folle ou c'est réellement un vampire?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
Le jardin près de la morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Ah, nouvelle enquête. Une nouvelle enquête sur les citoyens disponibles. Donc, investigation locale. C'est ici que vous pouvez consulter les enquêtes sur les citoyens triés par quartier. Vous pouvez démarrer une nouvelle mission de citoyen en la suivant, puis en consultant votre carte pour afficher la zone à explorer. Découvrir qui espionne Thelma. Ok. Et là, Milton. Pénétrer dans le jardin. Voilà, j'ai pas d'enquête. Ok. J'ai bien fait de parler à tout le monde, comme ça j'ai une fonctionnalité en plus que j'ai découverte.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Je sais pas si ça existe réellement ce syndrome ou si ça a été inventé pour le jeu. Je suis curieuse d'aller voir si c'est le cas après. Hop. Qui êtes-vous
Who
réellement?
are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Je pense que c'est
I'll
tout.
leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
J'aime bien comme il est gentleman, qu'il est... Il fait bien gaffe à ce qu'il dit aux gens quand même, c'est cool. Et puis pas on lui a parlé. Ah, lui c'est qui? Oh, lui on le connaît pas encore.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Sympa.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Oh mais le jaloux.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
C'est ça, oui.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
À mon avis, il fait ça surtout pour essayer de sauver les vies.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
D'accord, lui il a décidé qu'il m'aimait pas.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Puis là, monsieur. Et lui, c'est qui? Oula, mais il y en a des médecins.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
D'accord, donc on a des gens qui détestent Jonathan et puis d'autres qui l'adulent, quoi.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me.
Ooh.
I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Je vous aiderai avec
It's
plaisir.
always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Bon, bah voilà, on a une nouvelle enquête. J'ai bien
You
fait parler
seem
à tout
quite
le monde.
optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted
Eh oui,
territory.
exactement.
I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Ah, moi je pense aussi hein, que c'est un jaloux.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Ah, je l'ai pas encore rencontré, Hervé Fiddick.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
Bah, ces deux-là, ils s'entendent pas. Hein.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Bon, on a un indice sur un patient. Voilà, Hervé Fiddick. Ah, là, il y a des trucs. Je le verrai. Lettre inachevée. Je vais peut-être lire les trucs que j'ai trouvés. Lettre inachevée. Je vais vous laisser mettre sur pause et comme ça vous pourrez la lire. Et voilà, ça c'est le dossier médical de Thomas Elwood. Je vous laisse aussi lire et mettre sur pause. Et on avait trouvé un autre truc sur les faiblesses vampires. Voilà, je vais vous le lire par contre parce qu'il est long. Hein. Alors, mes chers frères, je dois désormais attirer votre attention sur un point très important, l'utilisation de l'ail comme protection contre les vampires. Mettons les choses au clair, l'œil ne vous protégera en aucun cas. Peu importe sa fraîcheur, sa puissance ou son odeur, l'ail est complètement inutile en tant que moyen de défense. Le roman de Bram Stoker a causé des dégâts incroyables sur les croyances populaires. Bien évidemment, les peuples slaves d'Europe de l'Est mettent des gousses d'ail dans leur cercueil. Bien évidemment, les habitants de l'île de Santorin en accrochent à leurs fenêtres. Il y aurait beaucoup de choses à dire sur cette île et j'espère un jour y retourner afin de pouvoir étudier plus avant leurs traditions occultes. Mais là, il n'est pas là pour protéger les vivants du mal. Il est là pour dire aux morts que les vivants ont conscience de la malfaisance. C'est un symbole. Alors je vous en prie, mes frères, allez-y, montrez fièrement votre ail, accrochez-en autour de vous, portez-en sur vous et affirmez aux forces des ombres que vous n'avez pas peur. Mais si vous cherchez une protection, vous devrez creuser beaucoup plus profondément dans les secrets occultes. Car voici la vérité. L'ail ne repousse pas les vampires, mais toutes les plantes fraîches peuvent leur faire du mal, comme si leur corps ne pouvait pas supporter la présence d'éléments botaniques. J'ai vu un vulpé enragé prendre ses jambes à son cou après avoir été frappé par une rose. J'ai vu un écotte déchaîné s'écrouler, demander grâce après avoir été frappé par un pieu en bois. Je ne sais pas pourquoi la flore est aussi efficace et je serais prêt à donner mon bras gauche pour le découvrir. Les effets sont bel et bien là, les vampires sont très sensibles aux herbes, plantes et morceaux de bois frais. Et ça a été écrit par Usher Tortree, primat de la confrérie de l'étole de Saint-Paul. Voilà. On va parler à Hervé Fiddick.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait à son bras?
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility.
Tu
My
m'étonnes.
apologies.
S'il saigne et tout, ça va être compliqué pour un vampire.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
C'est pas cool. Hein.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Ouais.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Ouais, t'y peux rien, mon gars. C'est arrivé, c'est tout.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Du coup, on sait pas réellement ce qui s'est passé.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Sweet girl. Reads me
Ouais,
like
il
a
me
book.
fait de la peine, ce monsieur.
Never could keep anything from her.
Non, il n'y a pas de note. On va parler à qui d'abord, elle?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Oh là là, elle a l'air bien embêtante, cette bonne femme. Je sais pas vous, ce que vous en pensez, mais...
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Je suis obligée de dire ça?
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Okay.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Ça c'est bien par contre. C'est bien, c'est que les personnages sont ni tout blanc ni tout noir. Et ça c'est vraiment cool. Là on n'a pas les indices, donc c'est marrant.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Et là il y a le fiston, petit-fils de maman.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Il est dans un sale état lui. Hein.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Oui mais... C'est vrai qu'il a besoin de se reposer mais...
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
D'accord.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Il a l'air déprimé ce garçon, il fait trop de la peine.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir.
Il aurait pas essayé de se tuer ce garçon. C'est là que je venais. Bon, mais je ne peux plus reculer l'inévitable. Nous allons trouver où il faut aller. Je sais plus du coup. C'est par là. Je crois que j'ai pas aimé. Bon.
I cannot enter.
Comment ça tu peux pas rentrer? T'as la clé? C'est là pourtant. Par où qu'on rentre du coup? Ah ben c'est reparti. Donc, vous voyez, c'est plein de scales. Et on va y aller. Si j'ai une petite tenue différente, c'est normal, c'est parce que je tourne le lendemain. Ah, j'aime bien les armes rapides. Alors, il y a un truc dans la poubelle et un truc là. Voilà, il y en a deux. Donc, il faut que j'utilise mes pouvoirs de ténèbres, je pense. Et on verrouille une cible. Ils sont pas beaux, hein. C'est nickel. Comment je fais pour rentrer du coup? C'est par où? C'est par là? Faut faire tout le tour. Ah d'accord, super. J'ai peur. Oh là 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 là. J'ai l'impression que je vais me faire attaquer dans pas longtemps. Et que je vais crier comme une fillette. Ouh. Je suis tendue. Vieille morgue, c'est super, c'est génial. Oh là là. Là, je suppose qu'on peut pas. Il y a des traces de sang sur le dessus. Ça veut dire que je vais peut-être me faire attaquer par surprise. On va savoir ça tout de suite. Oh là là. Oh. Je n'aime pas ça. On va monter voir. Oh là là. Oh. C'est pas génial tout ça. Hein. Ah, j'ai un établissement.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Ah, j'adore savoir. Ah, c'est cool l'épée. Elle me plaît bien. Il est un petit peu balourd, Jonathan. Hein,
must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Là, on peut trouver plein de trucs du coup. Je suppose qu'on peut rentrer. Non, il y a plein de trucs qui sont verrouillés. Je suppose qu'à un moment donné, je vais me faire attaquer par surprise, c'est pas possible. J'espère ne pas me fail ce coup-ci. D'accord, donc ça veut dire que je vais me faire attaquer dans pas longtemps. Sur leur tour, non? Qu'est-ce que je disais? Oh putain, j'ai peur. Oh, j'aime pas ça. Ça ressemble à des zombies et c'est un des trucs que je déteste en fait. Wow! C'est cette épée le machin? D'accord. Ah. Oh là là. Ça me fout vachement les jetons. Tout de suite. Bon bah je vais me faire certainement attaquer par derrière. Oh là là. Et pourtant je suis pas très jeu d'horreur, hein, je vous le dis tout de suite. J'aime pas ça du tout. Oh là là. Oh, c'est dégoûtant.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
À un moment donné, moi j'ai plus de sang aussi. Il va peut-être falloir que je me nourrisse. Bah oui, des skulls, en fait, c'est des espèces de ghouls. C'est par là, je crois. Je vais voir ce qu'il y a par là. Oh là 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 là. Un truc qui m'inflige stupeur parce que là... Ah oui, j'ai un truc pour me défendre maintenant, c'est vrai. J'y ai pas pensé. Il y a plein de trucs intéressants à choper ici. Oh là 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 là. J'aime pas ça, pas ça, pas ça, pas ça, pas ça. Oh là 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 là. Oh. Oh, et les bruits que ça fait en plus, mais sérieux. Oh là là. Couteau d'amputation usé. Et elle absorbe directement du sang. Oh, ça peut être intéressant. Parce que j'utilise pas les armes. Bon, écoutez, ça peut être sympa.
It's locked, all right.
Donc il faut que je trouve la clé. Ça marche bien. Ça va être un petit peu plus dur celui-là. Oh là 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 là. Ça sent le méga boss, non? On sort déjà mieux. Putain, lâche-moi. Et Jonathan, je peux le faire. Oui, j'ai réussi.
These skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Ouais, je suis d'accord. Allez hop, j'aime bien faire le truc stylé pour aller d'un truc à l'autre. Même si j'aurais pu prendre les escaliers. Purée, à chaque fois j'ai l'impression que je vais jamais y arriver. Les combats sont pas si faciles que ça. Ah bah là je peux faire des traitements si je veux. Vous avez assez d'ingrédients pour fabriquer un médicament. Ah mais c'est cool, parce qu'il y en a certains qui étaient malades je crois. Non, il me faut de la solution hyperchlorite. Hop là. Voilà. Oh, j'aime pas les bruits. Du coup, je vais aller voir un petit peu ce qu'il y a en bas. Par contre, je comprends pas, il y avait un coffre en bas et je pouvais pas l'ouvrir. D'accord. T'as décidé de m'empêcher de passer? Tiens. Hop là. On met où? Hop. Évidemment, pour sortir de là, je vais devoir battre ou... Oh non, c'est bon. Oui, c'est par où qu'on sort. par là. Voilà. Nous avons fait notre première quête de chapitre, nous sommes mal. Donc j'imagine même pas le reste, je vous avais dit. Hein. Du coup, ce qu'on va faire, c'est que je vais vous laisser ici parce qu'avec le fait qu'on a parlé à plein de gens, je crois que l'épisode va être vachement long. Le prochain épisode, on va faire les quêtes secondaires avant d'aller rendre cette quête-ci à Dorothy Crane. Voilà. Comme ça, on voit comment se résolvent les affaires secondaires. Sur ce, je vous fais plein de bisous et je vous souhaite une bonne journée. À toutes.